Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to North Penn High School and Crawford Stadium, home of the Marching Knights. Tonight's program is going to cover a dual purpose. The one purpose is to watch two outstanding performance groups that performed last Saturday at Hershey Park, one in exhibition and one in competition. And if you haven't realized yet, the Marching Knights took first place up at Hershey. I have a couple of announcements before I get started. First of all, there is a North Penn School District no smoking policy. You can please abide by that rule. And if you need to use the restrooms, they're located right underneath the bleachers right over here. And as you proceed to the men's room, gentlemen, we have Glenn Miller Orchestra tickets for you on sale, happening February 25th, Saturday night, 1995 at North Penn High School. That's the Glenn Miller Orchestra. We have tickets on sale on your way to the men's room. It's not in the men's room. It's not in the men's room, ladies. So don't be embarrassed to head in that direction. Next, tonight's program will be shown on both cable channel 16 tomorrow night at 7 p.m. and also on suburban cable channel 9 Thursday at noon. Both cable channels will be covering tonight's program. If you get cold throughout the evening, or if you you have this burning passion to purchase a Marching Knights license plate or anything that you need with Marching Knights on it, we have our table over here with many items with the Marching Knights on the license plates, t-shirts, and many of other items. And we are going to see the Penndale Middle School perform in just a couple of moments. But I'm just going to take a personal moment, and I can't believe we're all out here just to see what it comes down to 9 minutes worth of music. And I can't thank all of you enough. Thank you. You've come out to hear some music, so why don't we get started? Right now, I'd like to turn the program over to the voice of the Marching Knights, Mr. Ron Higgins.
Thank you, Ted. How do you turn this on, Ted? Entering the field is the 150-member Penndale Middle School Marching Band. The band is assisted by the 100-member Penfield and Pembroke Middle School's color guard units. Yay! The band is under the direction of Donald Klein, assisted by Jeff McCoach. The guard is under the direction of Ambient MP, assisted by Jeff McCoach, Brian Stout, Donna Furman, Reby Williams, and Karen Winhold. Yay. Student helpers are Stephanie Verna, Edie Gilbert, Andrea Carbone, Trish Caldonato, Rachel Keene, Heather Jordan, Stacy Cooper, Stephanie Reiner, and Becky Haynes. I assume some of these are Marching Knights members. There's Karen. The band will be performing two Spanish selections, Spania by David Schaefer and Conquista by David Schaefer. It will close the show with The Powerful Battle Star by Robert W. Smith. Drill design is by Jeff McCoach. And now, will you please welcome the Penndale Middle School Marching Band, and the Penfield and Pembroke Middle School's Color Guard units. Ladies and gentlemen, the Penndale Middle School Marching Band and the Penfield and Pembroke Middle Schools Color Guard. Would the members of the Marching Knights that I mentioned earlier step forward that have helped the Penndale Band? You know who you are. Step forward. I'll read their names again. Stephanie Verna, Ely Gilbert, Andrea Carbone, Trish Coladonato, Rachel Keene, Heather Jordan, Stacy Cooper, Stephanie Reiner, and Becky Haynes. How you all had time to do this, I can't believe it. But anyway, that was a job well done.
Thank you, Mr. Klein and the Penndale Middle School Marching Band. Following many competitions that we perform in, be it the football games competitions or just a normal public performance, they always say, why is it that the Marching Knights are so good? Is it the water in Lansdale? Is it who knows what it is? Well, I'll tell you what it is, where it starts at. It starts at the music instructors in this entire school district, especially with Mr. Klein happening there, and the middle schools and the elementary school teachers. And I think to bring up one other point, that I had Mr. Klein when I was in 7th grade is a very important fact to know. I mentioned that tonight's gathering will serve a dual purpose. Well, that was one of the purposes. The other purpose is, yes, you're going to see a championship performance tonight from the Marching Knights, but we also want to take you through some steps that we go through and try to educate our audience that we're always trying to do. Some of the back scenes that take place during, right before the competition, we normally go through a little stretch, a little basics, a little warm-up. And seeing that the Marching Knights haven't played in a couple of minutes, what we're going to do is we're going to do a warm-up right now. So just bear with us. What we usually expect in November will be frigid temperatures and high winds. Well, we have the high winds tonight. We don't have the frigid temperatures, but we still need to warm up, and we're going to do so right now. Bam, horns up. Key in on Mr. Hawks in the stands. Wave your hands, and let's do a warm-up. You have a minute. Anything over a minute, you will be given a penalty. You have a minute. Band parade rests. The next area that we go to, actually the first area that we normally go to, is what we call a stretch block. And right now I'd ask our team to move in that direction, set up a stretch block on the field with your instruments. Go. As we are setting up this stretch block, I want to give you some information. What you see before you, we're now up to 12 Cavalcade Championship banners, and this organization has a large history to it. And last Saturday we captured our 12th Cavalcade Advance Yankee Conference Championship. So in the period of 15 years, 12 championships, and there are so many people to thank that I don't even know if I want to get into that. But I definitely want to get to the point of introducing the staff later on this evening. Those of you that are familiar with the marching band program are familiar with the show design, and this year doing our show design, and the next person I'd like to introduce to the microphone, Mr. Eric Kitchenman.
Okay. One of the things that we have introduced this year in the program, introduced I should say, is that there is a new approach, a larger approach to the body efforts. And traditionally, when the troops came back from, I actually started with Notre Dame, I should correct myself. Notre Dame was the first marching band that hit the field. But then when the troops came back from World War II, there was a great deal of interest in pageantry on the field. And from there it started just playing what was referred to just marching. And used to start in the end zone, used to start with an inspection, so on and so forth. Well, obviously as time has moved on, so has the efforts involved by the people involved in the program. Tonight you'll see just a sampling of some of the body efforts that we introduced this year, and these have directly helped us in our vehicle, in our program, and have one of the reasons that we did so well in the field on Saturday night is that these students in front of you probably do more than most students do in this activity, in more ways than one, but this one for sure, and that was the body effort. Brian Stout, who's a North Penn graduate and a performer at Westchester University and a performer for the Field of View Color Guard, as well as a percussionist, has aided a lot and added a lot into this new endeavor. And he's going to take the band through a couple exercises. Mr. Stout? What they're doing right now is called the use of the center. It's lowering center and elevating center. And a lot of some of the larger size step, larger moves, they do involve lowering the center. The aspects that they're learning here are the same that people do on Broadway, are the same that the choreographer would teach a ballet group, and it is part of the elevation of the program. You'll see a variety of foot positions during this effort which invoke different muscle reactions. I might add that the Color Guard has a very extensive body program that they are also involved in, and I think right now they're doing a process themselves over on side one of the field with Mr. Craig Biesacker, and Mr. Biesacker has been joined us from the cadets and is our choreographer assisting in the body efforts, assisting with the Color Guard. This exercise is called weight shifts, and you'll see that the body goes through a variety of foot positions as they will through their performance. Everything we do here we build upon on fundamentals, not too different than what they do in school. Really, is that they understand that there are certain aspects of the program that they need to understand, which they will depend on and build off of as the season You might recognize this particular exercise in the paper the other day. And this is a lunge exercise, which you pull off center and put your weight into one leg. But it started here in fundamentals. And so that when that part of the show came around and we decided it was time for a visual or an effort, we were able to pull it out of our repertoire from fundamentals. And we always take a moment to make sure the performers are ready and they have already gone through a full exercise, a warm-up exercise, so they're pretty much ready to go. Okay, there's a sample of what that's about. You've heard some of the musical aspects warming up, and all these build. Every time the band gets together during the week, they go through a certain step process that leads them into the performance attitude, and there's a sample of that. Thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, next we're going to start moving some things on the field, and we're going to show you, again, educate you on how this marching band works and why things work for us. Before we do, it gives me a great pleasure, once again, to introduce another friend of mine, happens to be the principal of North Penn High School, Dr. Juan Bond.
Thank you very much, Mr. Heller. It is, that feels good. That feels real good. It's so good to have you with us this evening. And it's so good to have so many of you. One of the things that Mr. Heller and I decided a few years ago is that we went to this state championship and won all the time, and many of you didn't have an opportunity to see that performance in its entirety. So we're going to provide you with that opportunity in just a few moments this evening. Now, Mr. Heller, are you folks ready for me to call names and things? Yeah, I think that it's time for you to meet up close and personal the staff that makes the Marching Knights tick. And I'm going to call off all the names. I'm going to ask all of those persons to come up here. Oh, and let me say to Mr. Heller's staff, for the next 10 minutes, I'm the director. So you just have to listen and pay attention and pretend like it's him. They don't listen to you anyway. That's one of the reasons we're so good. See, Mr. Heller doesn't like to tell it, but he graduated. He doesn't mind saying that he graduated from North Penn High School. But Mr. Heller also claims to be the best trumpet. What? He also says he's the best trumpet player North Penn ever graduated. That's what he says.
I never said it. It's true. I never said it.
And now, Mr. Heller also is moving his graduation date up. Now he graduated in like 1988. Now, I was principal in 1988, and he was not a student. He forgets how long I've been here. And Mr. Heller, you notice Mr. Heller grew this little stuff here. So you notice that's his new look. That's the state championship look. I hope he's not taking that to Phoenix. It's ugly. He's a good sport, too. Let's meet the staff, the Marching Knights staff. Bill Anders, marching and maneuvering. Come out, please. Bill Anders, come on up, Bill Anders. Bill Anders. Craig Biesecker, marching and maneuvering. Eric Deal, where's Eric? There's Eric. You've heard these names, and we want you to see the faces. So turn around and this is your 5 minutes into whatever they say, 5 seconds into stuff, whatever that's called. Keith Hamilton. Where's Keith? Going out here, Keith. Keith works with the marching and maneuvering also. William Hawks, brass instructor. John Jostin, woodwind instructor. Tom Kelly, percussion. Jeff McCoach, music assistant. Jeff. Huh? Oh, I'm sorry. They said that should be Gopher. I don't agree, Jeff. Jeff, I don't agree with that. That's tough. That's just what they say. Huh? Oh, who's the new one? Oh, he's the new one. All right, well, we'll get him up here in a minute. It's nice to have these young fellas who've been a part of the Marching Knights come along and help with the Marching Knights. That's great. Let's see, Peter New. Speaking of young fellas, Peter New, music instructor. Bill Paletti, percussion instructor. Where's Bill? Mark Ransford, guard instructor. Tim Riker, percussion. Can't be here tonight, we'll thank him. Nancy Shaponik, costume and uniform design. Nancy. Brian Stout, marching and maneuvering. Brian, I don't believe you're the new. There are no Gophers with the Marching Knights. Everybody has something responsible to do. Brian Revols, percussion. Brian. Bob Yarnell, visual instructor. Come on out, Bob Yarnell. Kelly Stemple, guard instructor. Kelly. And show designer, you've heard from Mr. Eric Kitcherman. Eric. This, ladies and gentlemen, ladies and I know it's not gentlemen's with an S, I apologize, but I've been out of school for a while. Gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen, these folks make the Marching Knights go, and we are so proud of them, and we want to say thank you. Can we say thank you? Okay, we're going to have Eric take us through a few more steps, and soon, real soon, we're going to see the show. And you know, the other thing about this show, one of the things I've learned about the Marching Knights and these folks, is that the show you see tonight is great, but the show we're taking to Phoenix in December will be greater. Is that you guys paying attention? They weren't paying attention while I was talking. Last time we had a show, and we did some wonderful things here, and we went to Phoenix, and we went to a museum and got cannons, bells, great big, weren't bells, what are they called? Liberty bells, big bells, flare guns, and don't say rifles, we're not allowed to say rifles. And I think I should introduce the voice of the Marching Knights. Who's that? Ron Higgins over there? Ron Higgins is the voice of the Marching Knights when I can't be there. Oh, I guess it's the other way around. I'm the voice of the Marching Knights when Ron can't be there, and he wasn't absent enough this year, and I don't like that. Okay, Eric, what's next? Okay, let's do that.
All right, what we're going to do now, we need to move the podium over, please. We're going to go through two parts of the show and a little explanation of how they came about. And the first one is the opening set. Okay. What's going to happen is, well, let me explain how this came about. The piece you're about to hear is Exultate Justi, and it's a piece written by, obviously, John Williams, as the whole show is. We discovered this piece of music from a soundtrack of Empire of the Sun. And it is a choral piece, actually a Renaissance piece. And he arranged it for the movie. And this is how we came about this opening effort. What you're going to see in 32 beats, 32 counts, the band's going to get locked into a picture. Before that moment, you're going to see an opening thought start in the center of the field. It'll start with a visual effort from a color guard lady, and then it will add on in voices. What you're going to see throughout the entire field is some of the body efforts that I mentioned to you earlier, and a variety of things. You could look down the 5-yard line and be very entertained by what the flutes are offering, or down here on this yard line by the saxophones, or anywhere on the field, and you'll see an interpretation of the musical line in a lot of variety. Eventually, as the sextet comes forward and they finish their thought, what you're going to see is an ensemble moment. An ensemble moment is an impact point. This particular impact point involves 2 parts. One is the connecting line that you'll see from the woodwinds from down to the 5, all the way down to the other 5, connected through the back, with the flag line picking up that effort. The other musical line that you're going to see is the inside box of low brass, low woodwinds, accompanied by rifle. There are 2 musical efforts layered on each other. So this is a 32 count beat process that you'll see in the beginning, followed by 16 counts of the initial opening impact. Marching Knights will take it up to letter B and stop. Up to letter B and stop. Here we go. Two sets, please. Here we go. Okay, there is a layering of ideas. Notice that at this particular point, the accompaniment of the flags with the back part, and then the accompaniment of the rifles with the center block. And this is what they refer to as a layered moment. What we're going to do now, band, is we're going to take it into the ending set of opener. Ending set of opener, please, and we'll take a little bit into scherzo. Ending set of opener, go ahead. This next sample is a part of our second piece. It's called Scherzo for Motorcycle and Orchestra. This piece is considerably complicated. When I say complicated, I'm referring to in a vertical sense. And I say vertical, it's how all the tempo and all the rhythmic emphasis and emphasis through time are layered on each other. You'll notice in this piece the percussion will come forward, and the percussion involve themselves to the front of the field, because this is the origin of this piece is very percussively oriented. But you also see the voices passing throughout the field. The field is going to change in terms of its emphasis. You're going to see a couple rifles start, and then some sabers, and eventually we're going to get to a block resolution. During this block resolution, the whole field will turn into a block. You're going to see, at that point, the use of streamers, and the streamers are only a textual, at this point, a textual offering. People are asking, what does it mean? Nothing. It is merely a choice from the design team to apply at this particular point. The color guard, I might add, through the performance, go through a variety of equipment efforts. And here's an example of one coming up. What you'll see on the hit, at what we call letter C, at the hit, you'll see static positions. That means some of the performers will be at a halt. Then you're going to see contrast, because some of the performers are moving in one direction while others are moving in the other. So in the design world, there's a couple elements here happening. One is the vertical alignment of literally the lines on the field, the performers, and then motion or lack of motion. And at this point, you'll see that the lack of motion from the streamers and from the sabers, because of their color, because of their equipment, is also amplified relative to the motion and counter motion that's going on around them. Okay, marching knights, we're going to take it up to letter C at the impact point at C, and then the 6 counts after, the large 6 counts. Everybody know what I'm talking about? Yeah? Okay. You'll also, in the beginning, you'll see the snares, for instance, pass through the trumpets. That's a textured moment. I call that texture because of the emphasis there. You'll hear a trumpet voice, and you're going to see snares laid on top of that and merely passing through only to draw attention to it, for instance, at that particular point. And a variety of other things. We'll take it 6 counts after the impact at C, the large step impact, and then we'll stop right there. Here we go. There is a variety of things that went on right there. If you watched closely in the beginning effort on my right-hand side, the emphasis by some of the color guard, adding some body efforts to bring attention to that. The use of white in our uniform is a very strong design choice that we use a lot. It was designed that way from the origin. That was way back in 1980 with Bob Hoffman, who used white capes, so those who were aware of the band back then. And it was something that we always grabbed onto and used since then. And again, you'll see that throughout the show. The moments that we use white, we use it as an emphasis relative to the design moment. I hope you all enjoyed that. There's a little sampling of how this whole thing's put together. Thank you. Okay, I was just told by the boss that I could do one more. Band, we're going to set up at after the 32 count build in Cadillac. After the 32 count build in Cadillac. So we've done the up-tempo bridge. There are 56, I believe, 58 sets in the show, and the performers know all their sets through several processes. One, obviously, is the day they learned it. We work on what we call the grid being the field yard lines and hashes. We know wherever we take the show in the United States that we will get there through, when we arrive there, they'll have this grid so we can take into it. We're after the 32 count bridge and into the 18 count motion. So what you're going to see now is, obviously, as the unit sets up, you can discern that there's a separation of the elements. Color guard are on the side 1 of the field, your left, and band and percussion on side 2. You can also notice the spread, the snares being way back in the back right corner, and color guard all the way down here to the left. This moment's going to offer you 2 things. One is it's going to offer you the moment of texture, again, partly from how the band moves. You're going to see a moment over here we do a duo effort with the performers, color guard performers, and then that is released relative to the next step in energy, and when that next step in energy comes, those girls are released and go through the band. And that agitation, if you will, of that moment elevates the visual effort to connect to the next step in a musical sense. Finally, they're going to eventually evolve into a moment. In fact, we're just going to do that much. That's all. We're going to take an 18 and a 4 count and then a 16 and stop. Okay, so we're not going to do the last moment. All right, everybody aware of that? Okay, we're going to do 2 sets in reality here, 2 sets. This is my first moment here, there's 18. Then a 4 count pause, then in the next moment, and stop. We won't resolve it. The resolution you're going to see a little later. Here we go. Set. Set is a term we use for the performer to be aware of the moment as if they're right there. If I remind them constantly that if we were to take a black and white picture, they would be at the moment in their show so that they can relate to it specifically. Notice two other things about that moment. One was the technique applied. It's much different than a forward march. It's a tendu against part of the training process that the members have gone through, and as well as the release of color on side one relative to the impact to make that moment happen. Okay, I got the official okay. Thank you.
Oh, I have to push a button. Feel that energy? One of the things I want you to notice as we do this, the little things, there's so much happening on this field at the same time, it's tough to see it all. But there are a lot of little things happening that make the difference. Now, finally, as they prepare to do the show, I want to acknowledge a group that we haven't acknowledged yet. Now, this group is all important. They look terrible most of the time, but they do a wonderful job. And that is the crew. Would the crew come on out here, please? Isn't it? And this is the crew. Thank you, guys. Look at it. See those folks standing up there? That's all your family. I am excited because every time the crew gets one of these gorgeous shirts, they make sure they have an extra one for me. Aren't I lucky? And I'm not allowed to wear it at home. And they're not allowed either. But these gentlemen do an incredible job for us in terms of getting equipment around and moving. And they have tape. I'm supposed to have tape. I don't have tape. But we just want to say I have tape. I'm not here. You can have some. Want some tape, son? Here you go. You have some tape now. All right, you got it. Does that make him a member of the crew or what? Thank you, gentlemen. See you. Bye. You had your moment. See you. I just wanted dinner because they bet me at dinner I wouldn't put this shirt on. Okay, we ready to go? Mr. Ron Higgins, let's do this.
Before I introduce Ron again, I have a couple more announcements I said earlier, and in case you weren't paying attention, I just want to remind you, again, this program that we are going through this evening will be aired tomorrow evening on Adelphia Cable Channel 16, and that will take place at 7 o'clock, and then on Thursday at noon, it will be shown on Suburban Cable Channel 9. And that restroom announcement that I made earlier, that is the Glenn Miller Orchestra, and it has nothing to do really with restrooms, but the Glenn Miller Orchestra tickets are on sale by the men's room, and that's the reference there, so everyone understands that, especially my boss. The Glenn Miller Orchestra will be coming to North Penn High School Auditorium Saturday, February 25th, 1995 at 8 o'clock p.m. This next set is what we call coming on the field. We do a quick warm-up there. Again, we can never know what type of weather conditions we're up against, so if we're waiting for a while, we haven't played, we need to do a warm-up. So we're going to do a warm-up there, and then once we finish the warm-up, we take the field to opening set, and then you will see our show. The next voice you hear, again, will be Ron Higgins, the voice of the Marching Knights. Okay, Bill, go.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. The North Bend School District and the North Bend Music Aids take great pride in presenting the North Bend Marching Knights. The Marching Knights staff is under the direction of Ted Heller. The 1994 North Bend Marching Knights are continuing a tradition of entertainment and education. This year's theme is film music of the late 20th century. The regal and powerful opener is Exultate Juste. It is a Latin choral work in the Renaissance style. The Marching Knights feature a brass sextet of 4 trumpets, Jen Fetter, Bob Kennedy, Pete Lander, and Mindy Litnack, and 2 mellophones, Eric Backlund and Anita Strangerbull. Exultate Juste is followed by Scherzo for motorcycle and orchestra. This work features our percussion section with its strong rhythms and challenge of meter. The third work is the ballad Cadillac of the Skies. Trumpet soloist at the end is Jen Fetter. The Marching Knights close with Adventures on Earth, a fast-paced, exciting exit with lots of energy. Piccolo soloist is Jen Rittenhouse. All of the music to be performed was written originally for film by John Williams. And now, will you please welcome, under the field direction of band majors Robert Riley and David Sweeney, the North Bend Marching Knights.
the North Penn High School Marching Knights. Would you like to hear just a little more? Just a little more. Mr. Howard, can we hear a little more?
I want you to set up the pods and the exit. We're going to play from the pods and the exit play and move. Set. It is right before the pick solo. Color guard, do the best you can as resetting the equipment. Pull in at parade rest when you're set to go. We are going to play the halt.
I want to thank everyone for coming out tonight as we prepare for this last set. I also want to say that on behalf of myself as principal of high school, that we recognize that this is not just North Penn High School's band, but the North Penn Community Band. And we thank you for everything you do to make us successful here. And parents, we love you, and thank you for sending us such wonderful, wonderful young people.
Here we go. Here we go. One last time. Don't hold it in. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you.
One more round of applause for the North Penn Marching Knights. This year, the Marching Knights will be traveling to Phoenix, Arizona to compete in the Fiesta Bowl's National Pageant of Bands. Special thanks and appreciation are extended to the North Penn School District Administration, Dr. Alan Elko, Superintendent, North Penn High School, Dr. Juan Bond, Principal, Bert Hines, Mario Berlanda, Steve Frederick, and Brenda Dickerson, Assistant Principals, the North Penn Music Aides, Deborah Appleton, President, the entire North Penn School District Music Department, and the North Penn community. Thank you and good evening.